Yeah. Miss Gladys, it looks like it's just us for right now. You're probably dancing with babies. There you are. I was like, oh, she probably was expecting to not jump in so early.
That's okay. I was just making up my dinner, a little late to the dinner. And so I was like, I'll just be off camera while I eat my salad, but
Nope, it's just
guess
us. Now you
not.
get to you get to eat away.
I love it. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, everybody's getting boxed up and moving out. So,
Oh, that's a
um,
big deal.
I was thinking about your kiddo today. So Nikki, the gal who does like the sun quantum Reiki, there's
Mm-hmm.
9 levels of the sun quantum. And in the middle, there's one called Linear Universe and Light Codes. And we had a meeting this morning because I had some questions and I actually found like an error in the translation. She's like, nobody's ever noticed that. And I'm like, this was actually a really big deal for me. And it opened up this whole download, but she didn't understand because she's Greek. She's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, no, that's my stupid mistake. I'm like, it wasn't a stupid mistake. It was actually like this whole download came through and it actually supported somebody. Anyways, she felt bad about it, so she gave me a bonus, which is a frequency specifically for children.
Very cool.
And they're codexes that you gaze at, and your eyes with your iris will signal it with the rest of your brain. So I have those being printed. So
Heck
when I
yeah.
get them, I might send you some pictures and just be like,
Okay.
show this to your kiddo.
Yeah,
But I was really excited because I thought of you immediately. I was
I love
like,
that.
oh, I think this is what Gladys has been waiting for.
I love that. Yeah. So far, we haven't had any instances since then. Um, I've been kind of like rearranging and going through things and decluttering and trying to get ready for Christmas, and all the chaos was just getting to me. And I was like, I've got to move some stuff. So I actually moved their dresser around in their room,
Ah,
and he hasn't had any nightmares since then. So I'm like, maybe just moving things around and having saged is helping. And then he hung his dream catcher. But I was just barely looking at the dream book last night, kind of flipping through it and seeing if anything was standing out to me. But I am excited to take it with him and have him kind of flip through it and see if
did
anything stands
anything
out.
jump out? I'm glad
Um,
I found that, by the way. I couldn't find it. And I was like, no way, did I gift it to somebody else and I forgot?
um, we had a power outage right as I was like, it was super random power outage in the area. For some reason, like a third of the town was without power. Anyway, I was sitting there flipping through it and the power went out. Um, I was actually quite intrigued with where you had your bookmark, where you had my name in slipped into it. Do I have it sitting right here? Oh, I do.
That was not even a conscious knowing place
Yeah.
either, which you probably already
Um,
knew that. But
yeah.
sometimes
Oh,
it
yeah,
helps
yeah,
to know.
yeah. And I'm like, I know that was totally random, but like it's sitting here. Um, it's on, it's the language of dreams, the chapter of language of dreams, I believe. Let's see. Um, oh wait, no, there was, now that I'm thinking about it, the shadow popped out at me for my own dreams that I've experienced in the past. But the bookmark page was on the divine child, the great mother, and the hero.
Oh, interesting.
It was very interesting. So that's where you had your little bookmark in. But then now that I'm thinking about me flipping through it, the shadow, the shadow image popped out at me. Let me see if I'm gonna set the phone here for a second. Let me grab
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Let's see if I can find the image. It like really jumped out at me because it reminded me of dreams I had. They were more when I was like 18 and like kind of deciding if I wanted to stay in the church, if I wanted to go. It's a super cool book. I actually got on Thrift Books last or this morning and found it and ordered me one. Hmm.
Rowena says her Zoom isn't connecting.
Oh no.
Her internet's down.
Can she connect with just Wi-Fi? Or I mean like,
The calling in is what I was checking, so I'm gonna grab that and send it. It won't show
I'm
me the
very,
call
very
number.
excited to take all of the extras that I can take along with this course. It's like all I can do, I'm like, Gladys, just finish this one. Just get through this one, and then you can add on others. I just love to learn it all.
Yes. Well, and I was gonna share, I am doing the first level, the Sun Quantum Reiki.
Mm,
She calls it Quantum Light. She changed the names of some of them, but I still go off of, I still call it Reiki because it's actually the fusion of several, but that's like the level one that opens up the other ones.
hmm.
There's also a dolphin frequency that I'm going to be doing.
I
Which
remember you talking about that one in Hawaii.
yeah, and the dolphin frequency, I mean, you think it would be like about sound and communication, which is in there a little bit, but the main portion is using all nine levels of the brain because dolphins use more of their brain percentage than humans. And so it's about
Interesting.
accessing different parts of the brain. So
That
I'm
is really
actually
cool.
taking that with me when I'm out of town over the holiday, which it turns out the holidays that I would miss are already holidays. So I was like, oh, because I was worried, like, let me see if I have internet access to do our call. I'm like, oh, actually, we already wouldn't be doing our call because
Yeah.
they're literally Christmas and New Year's.
Yep.
So
It's perfect.
let me just see if I can send this to her. Um, so I will be, oh, there it is. Okay. This- I was just grabbing the phone number for Rowena.
Cool. It's not popping back out at me yet. Uh,
Um,
uh,
oh, there's Cindy. So yeah, the dolphin frequency will be really fun. And it's independent of the other frequencies. But the sun quantum, like I really love it. I've received Reiki from different practitioners and it's unlike the others. It's just a different language completely. Um, so if you go through and you do the first one, then there's like the level two, the level three, and usually at the continued education, we always have one of them. And I
yeah.
try and pick the one that the majority of the people do not have or do a new one. So, but yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Uh, yeah, I really love them. And I meet with her privately just to make sure that my understanding and my interpretations are up to par. And apparently other people don't. I'm like, really? You haven't had this question 15 times? Because it's not even, doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
There's a dragon frequency. Yeah.
Ooh,
But it's
very
more
cool.
of just connecting with the light body itself and connecting with the way you interact with everything in creation and all of the dimensions and the linear universe, the one that I'm preparing right now, is literally quantum physics. And so I have to keep reaching out to my kids who are in college and like math geniuses. And I'm just like, can you explain this to me? What's the difference between a logarithm and an exponential? Like on the charts, like is one like because she uses that language and I'm like, I don't know what this is saying. I need you to explain it to me in human terms. And finally my kids were like, just go on YouTube and ask YouTube. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, thanks. I was like, you guys could do it. You're majoring in math and you still can't explain it. So I
yeah.
may end up just going back to school and taking a physics class because I've never seen where energy work and light codes work with physics and science. And they're literally meshed together. So if you don't understand physics and math, then it doesn't make as much sense. But the more you can understand those, the more sense it makes. But that's like
Right.
level four. So don't get scared. But I'm
Yeah.
learning it because I'm actually writing out like a guide to the books. So you get all of her information that's hundreds of pages, but then you also get Holly's interpretation in English because hers is translated from Greek. So
Mm,
you get one that's not translated from Greek in my brain makes
I
sense.
love that.
So it'll be really fun when you get there.
Yes, I'm very excited to get there. Um, I've been tempted to like take an anatomy and physiology class because I'm like, I just want to understand how the body works more.
Yeah, the body. I was looking at Rowena's. Can you repeat that? You just want to understand how the body works?
I've been tempted to take like an anatomy and physiology class because I want to understand more of like just how the body works.
Yeah. And when I took the NMRT, the neuromuscular release technique, like that's where you learn like the nervous system and all of those pieces of the body and
Yeah.
the wiring of it. But yeah, it's very fascinating.
You have a body class as well, correct? Like a,
Hmm. Yep,
yes,
it's one of the continued educations as well.
cool.
So, yeah,
Very,
just because the idea is that as we continue on this journey, I continue to learn because I kind of have to for my
right.
overall sense of happiness. I have to be learning. And so if I'm learning new pieces and new tools, of course I'm going to teach them. And
Yeah,
so, and then that way it gives me motivation to keep learning. And then when you teach it, you learn it deeper. So
right.
yeah. And then if it doesn't make sense or when we communicate and share it together, then I learn more because everybody has a different viewpoint and different ways they work with it. So then by the end, we all just have all the modalities under our belt.
I love it.
But I like the SPHT to be the first
Right.
baseline because all of the modalities support that. But if you can't get past that, this is what's actually going on in your body and your mind, then
Mm-hmm.
it's like they'll feel good for a while and then they'll have it just come back. So,
Right.
and that's more
Makes
of
total
an
sense.
integrity thing for me. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
makes total sense. I I'm a little behind. I even hate using those terms on videos, but I did watch a few on like setting up your business and I've set up a business before, so some of it I was familiar with. I did let that business lapse, and so I've been kind of mulling over ideas for a business name.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel a little bit stumped. Like I keep thinking I need to get quiet and kind of meditate on it. But I'm like, I would love any input anybody wants to give me
Hmm.
on creating a business name. Because what I had before, it was just called alignment coaching, and that's not resonating anymore. So, yeah. And then I do have someone who's coming into town from North Dakota for a funeral, and she's like, I am so ready for a session with you.
Especially after a
And I'm
funeral.
like, what's that?
Especially after a funeral.
Yeah. And she's like, I actually think I need to do it before the funeral. Um, she is also ex FLDS, and there's a good chance she'll run into her mom, who is still currently in the church. And so she's like,
Oh.
I think I'm kind of feeling, because I asked her, she's like, when do you think would be best? And I just said, what are you feeling? And she's like, I kind of feel like I need to do it before. But then I had the thought, because she's not quite headed this way, the funeral is like in a week and a half. Um, I'm like, maybe I should tap in prior, just virtually. And then when she gets here in town, maybe do another session. That's kind of
I would,
something that was coming to my mind.
well, and that way you can split it too and just do small pieces
Mm-hmm.
that she can process, especially if she's traveling. She has a minute to think about it and to process and something to focus on rather than just dreading what's coming and being panicked
Right.
the whole travel.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Something to give her a little bit of, I don't know, relief. She's kind of walking through it. And then when she gets here, do more hands-on and more of like drumming and all of that with her.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'll reach out to her again tonight and just throw that idea out to her. But I do need to do a session. I need to just get that first one out of the way.
Under completed. It's not out of
Completed.
the
Yes,
way,
not
but
out of the
like
way. Completed. I was
get
like,
your
that's
session virginity taken. Yes,
yes.
given.
Exactly.
Well, and I was
Yeah.
thinking about the name. So one thing that I do always advise when it comes to business names is you should have an idea of what the business does by the name. And I know we get really attached to names and like, oh, this is going to be the best name ever. but then really step back and go, do I know somewhat of what you do by that name? Like, for example, my photographer friend, she's amazing. She's done most of my photography, like all the cool shots you see, like my profile picture right now for my birthday. We did that years ago. And I'm trying to, I still can't remember the name of her business. Let me see if I can find it. Because as a photographer, her business name is, I know it's here somewhere. Okay, here's her photographer business. The name of the business is Manifesting Renewal. She takes
Mm.
photos. Like it feels good and it tells you like, oh, she's deep, but you still have no idea what manifesting renewal would be.
I
She
would
could call
not
it,
think photos.
yeah, she could say manifesting renewal images or images manifesting renewal or photography. Like in the name, it should say something. And so that's, I think, a really good example when you're picking a name. Like, does it say what I do? And I mean, even the name of the modality, Sacred Healing Perspective Technique. And I really tried to come up with something different. Like, we even called it perspective design and all it like and mapping and blueprint and it was like nope, it needs to be very clear that it's sacred so you know it's going to be outside of the box. We're clearing
Hmm.
perspective, so whatever's going on in your mental blocks, and then we're healing, and it is a format and a technique. So and then even the name of my business, The Beauty Perspective, was because I was doing outer beauty and inner beauty. So I was still a makeup artist, and then I was also doing the inner work. So it still works, and I've tried changing it, and nothing comes to mind, so I haven't. But it's been 20 years, so now we're kind of stuck with it. But I feel
Yeah.
like it matches with like the negative perspectives, and that's why they're called perspectives. And so I really like the aligning. And you could even do something like align to heal and call
Hmm.
it that, like align to heal.
Yeah.
And you're just getting perspective so you can align to heal. Making it really simple and knowing you can always change it.
Yeah.
Or even something even simpler than that, healing with Gladys.
Yeah. Alignment coaching isn't terrible. I think it's the coaching part that throws me off
Yeah,
because it feels a little more formal, but I like the alignment part or some sort of
I really like the
align-
alignment. I don't
yeah.
use the word Yeah. coaching. And I mean, early in my practice, like when all this was first coming through, like the first year or two, I was like, oh yeah, and I'm an emotion coach. And it was like, no, I'm not, because we're actually clearing the shit. I'm not just guiding you through it. We're clearing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
And so um I really love the alignment. And then even like Devin, I don't know if you've met her yet because she's out by you. She just came up
Oh
with her
yeah.
business name and it's
I
called
don't
the
know her
Howl
business
and the
name though.
Halo,
Howl in the Halo.
which doesn't really tell you what she does, but it tells you she's mystical. And her work is she very much does work in the shadow work, and she helps with those heavy, heavy parts. Um, and more people who are drawn to like the witchy side are drawn to her energy for that. And so, even though it's the same baseline, she has more of this witchy vibe with it. And that allows people that are of that vibe to feel drawn to her. So where you're very good at being methodical, being very clear, being very thorough. I really love the word alignment.
Hmm.
And something really simple like alignment coaching, I can see how that fits. But yeah, you're right, coaching is not the word.
Yeah.
So I would play with even getting out of the thesaurus and looking at other words for coaching,
Yeah.
whether it's mentoring, guide, like an alignment guide,
Ooh,
uh,
I like that.
or emotional alignment guide, or something like that. And just write out a whole bunch of words and feel free to use the group text because some of us may pick words or say, okay, here's my top 10. Here's 10 ideas. And then we can go through and give opinions and thoughts. Really open and honest because there's not very many
Yeah.
times. Most people will be like, oh my gosh, that's so great. I love you. Yes, do it. And it's like, but let's be serious. Do we know what you're doing?
Yeah.
Is it a
Yeah.
photography business that we manifesting renewal? Yeah, that's the name of it. Like I still already forgot. I'm like, that's really cool for a life purpose, but that's not a business name. And so, like, she messaged me, she had a profile on it and it messaged me as that. And I already knew her from before she started the business, but she had a business. She just changed the name. And I was like, what is this? Are you doing coaching? No, it's my photography. It's just embodiment and it's sacred. I'm like, Should say photography
Yeah.
because I can't remember it. So thinking of it that too, like you want it to be something that people can remember. If you were to put either a picture with it to help them remember, that's going to help as well.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
really am liking aligned perspectives or
Ah,
I was
something like
that
that
came to mind
too.
too.
Yeah. Instead of the coaching. The alignment, aligned, whatever, absolutely. But the coaching is like, blah. Because
Right.
I feel like that is so saturated and just has, even if
Yes.
it's not saturated, it's just been really overused a lot.
I
mhm.
agree there. Yeah. Yes. And I have up leveled since I chose that name like 4 years ago. So
So you can
Yeah.
it
always
just
change
the
your mind.
coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I feel like I do offer some sort of like that mentoring coaching, I guess, type
Mhm.
service, but it's like, just like you said, it's overused.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's where like a tagline or a subtitle that in
yeah.
5 words or less can explain we SPHT, we clear your perspectives, we do coaching, we do mentoring, like, and it has it spelled out there. So then it's
Yeah.
easy to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I've just kind of, the marketing videos kind of got me thinking about it. Um, in my Instagram bio, it says, leading and loving the human soul into alignment or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but even that, I was like, I feel like I need to change that up. So it's all been things that have just kind of been on my radar that I've been mulling over and like, yeah, I would love input and feedback. So I like the idea of like writing down the top 10 and then sharing them with everyone. And I think Jamie says that in one of the marketing, like
Oh,
setting up
she
your
probably
business.
does.
Like, yeah, she's like, write it all down, and then circle your top whatever. And yeah,
And then whenever you're choosing fonts, make sure you can put it at an arm's length and you can still read it really easy. And put it on your phone as an arm's length and make sure you can read all the words. Because sometimes we pick pretty
Mhm.
fonts and people can't read what the heck we're saying. And you literally have a split second to catch someone's eye, and if they can't read it, it's just going to be white noise. So
yep,
that's my other pet peeve. I have to know what you do, and I have to be able to read the stuff that you post and the images. Make sure you can read it.
yes,
Um, also, and a lot of marketing, and this may be in the marketing videos too, but a lot of times, we want to think about who our ideal person is. And
hmm
I paid thousands and thousands of dollars in business coaching and all of this stuff years ago. And what I found was, oh, my ideal person is just like me. They're like
yeah,
me. And the more I change, the more my ideal client changes. Weird. And they're always just like me. And so instead of going, okay, she's a mom and she's this and she's that and she's da da da, it's like, okay, well, what am I? Because like attracts like. And so if you're picking a brand and a logo and a name and colors and images that you feel represent you, it's automatically going to magnetize people like you. And
yeah,
because whatever you're best at healing is going to be the things that you personally have healed. So that is your ideal client. And as a client, I want to go with somebody who's figured it out. So just like I mentioned with Devin, like the hell and the halo, like hers are going to be more of like the occult and they like the witchy things and they'll probably have black pointy nails and just all the fun little things that go with that, right? And I have other people who they really like everything super structured. Like Jamie's a practitioner and her is very structured. It's very simple. It's very dots and bullets and organized, completely different. And so they attract a different type of clientele, which is why it's good that there's so many of us because we're all so different. So making sure
right,
that it still reflects you.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yep,
And yeah, utilize the group for feedback because it's scary because this is also your naked creation that you're like, hey, everybody, here's what I am.
yeah, yeah. And I won't lie, I've had a lot of like fear of rejection coming up of putting myself out there. Um, kind of working through. We've chosen to live out here where we grew up, but we do not actively practice in anything. We have family out here. And I feel like I'm here for a reason and I want to embrace it. And I don't want to run from any of it, but I also feel like I want to be me. And there's times when I just feel like I can't be me. And so that feels hard. Like, I want to shout it from the rooftops that I'm a sacred perspective healer and I use drums and crystals and talk to the moon.
Well, soon my daughter, the pit bull, will be out there, and she is like the embodiment of zero fucks.
Yeah.
So if you ever need a pit bull,
Yeah.
she's really good.
I'm getting there more and more. I'm just totally getting there more and more, and it's great for me. But yes, I'm just working
I,
through all of that.
I still laugh that they're moving out there because I'm like, you do realize that you were like a walking billboard of you don't fit in, right? Because she's all tattooed and like
Well, and
everybody's
that's
gonna
getting to
know.
be more and more common out here too.
Oh,
Way, 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 way more common. Um, and so I don't think it's abnormal, but like I live in Centennial Park, which is it was a breakoff church from the FLDS, from the Warren Group, and it's a little different. And so just working through all the things.
well,
Yeah.
and the nice thing is you can also do virtual sessions, which means you have everyone in the world.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I've often questioned because I had planned to leave Utah when my youngest turned 18
Yeah.
and, have to stay in the state until kids are grown. And then I was like, hey, I'm gone. And then every time I've sat with it, even when before they turned 18, it was like, no, you have to be here to be a bridge because there's people who are leaving the church and there's people who don't have a community. There's people who are moving in. You need to be that beacon and that bridge. And
Yeah.
even by us living, and we've had a lot of practitioners go, oh, I wish we all just lived really close and together. And I said, no, we need to have this grid and be spread out because each one of us are our own beacon and we do alchemize the land and we're holding an energetic charge that assists everybody in the community whether or not they know it just by you existing there and shifting and radiating starts to shift the energies of everyone around you.
Yeah.
So it can feel lonely and
Yeah.
isolating and easy to be rejected, but there's also healing that's happening by being there.
Yes. Yes. And I did, the exact message is kind of fuzzy in my mind at the moment, but I had my great grandma come through, uh, oh gosh, 5, 6 years ago, and basically was like, I sent you as my namesake to change the path of women in this lineage.
Girls.
And so I know I'm here in this area for a reason. Just like you said, it gets really freaking lonely sometimes. But even with my job, so I work at Creek Valley Health Clinic. I work as a front desk patient service representative, and I freaking love my job. I see all walks of life. We service patients sometimes from, clear from Page. Sometimes they come from like Big Water, Beaver, because we can take Arizona and Utah insurances. So we just service a whole range of patients. And I just love my job, but it is very 3D. But I love that I can bring my 5D energy into that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a really hard time letting that go, letting my job go. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't need to. Like, I'm there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
even when I worked, because when I bought my house, I needed a muggle job because I
Yeah.
didn't want to try and do self-employed with a home loan. I was like, that's going to be too hard. So I ended up getting a muggle job for that. And I worked for a vet clinic, and it was really fascinating because I was like, how am I supposed to use my gifts here?
His
And
clothes are in the boys' room.
people would bring in their pets who passed away every single day. And then they would say, "Okay, I know that they're sad and grieving over their dog, and we didn't plan this, but we need them out of the room because we have more patients coming in. So we really need to move this." And I'm like, "Oh, send me in, coach." And so it became the thing that every time an animal was passing away, they immediately went to me. If somebody needed to schedule an animal to be put down or put to sleep, like they would be like, "Oh, that's Holly." I embraced all of my death work that I already do and I had done for people with the animals and moving emotion and guiding people at least out of the facility into a space where they could sit and mourn and have a talk and a drink of water. And so
Yeah.
it felt amazing because even though I was in this muggle job that I didn't really love, I was able to feel like I was still utilizing my gifts. I wasn't pouring myself out and not embracing all of me in some form. So
Yeah.
it was really fascinating. I loved it in that form.
Yeah. And that's kind of been our motivation because I just told my manager I wanted to pick up more hours, but my husband's self-employed and we've needed to claim full self-employment on taxes for 2 years, but it would look really good if I came in with a solid income as well for when we want to build a house. So that's our big goal this next year is to get us a house with, we're really hoping for at least a half acre so we can have chickens and animals and, place for the kids to run. So that's been my motivation for keeping my job. But I also really do love it. I love the connection it gives me with the community. Um, it's really just a central hub because, we get people that have just left the FLDS that need care and they need counseling because we service like from counseling to physical therapy to chiropractic to dental and medical, like we can do all of it. And so it's really great to be that central hub of the community. And so I love getting to meet people, but there's moments where I'm like, man, this feels very 3D. Okay, bring in my 5D energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here's a secret flyer for some healing work. You come here
Right.
often.
Yes.
Shh, don't tell anybody, but take my card.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but you are still offering that frequency.
Yeah. And I have people that will walk in and be like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And that's all they say. I'm like, yep, I'm just here. Oh, I'm
Oh,
so
I'm
glad
glad
you're
it's
here.
you.
Yeah.
Well, with my sister experiencing cancer and just going through the medical staff there, oh, like she ended up having a friend who had three children with medical challenges. She had to fight a lot with doctors and hospitals, and so she was used to it. So we ended up having her come, my sister take the babies and everything, to her toddler and her 6 month old, and them go. And she's like, I'm playing the sympathy card because I'm not getting answers and the desk ladies are awful. And so she took in the whole entourage. And I was like, I'll watch all the other kids here. You guys go do it. And I would love to fight on your behalf, but she knows the words to use. I don't know the words to use. So go get them. And like they got results right away. Like they had to go fight for it. So it is a gift of that calmness that allows them to be receptive to healing and just not more agitated and stressed. And then they don't listen to the doctors and they don't listen or like the whole situation and then they shut
Yeah.
down. Then their healing doesn't work and we don't know why. So you are
Yeah.
making a huge difference. I love that.
Yeah. There's nothing that peeves me more when somebody's working in customer service and 100%, you can see it all over their face and in their energy that they don't want to be there. There's nothing that it's like probably my number one pet peeve. I'm just like, you don't have to be here. Go find something else. Like, I want to be here. I want to put a smile on my face and I want to greet somebody. Like, yeah, if you don't want to
Well,
be
it's
here,
funny
find
because
something
even when
else.
I worked the front desk at the vet clinic, they always knew when it was time to step in and like, hey, Holly needs to walk away right now because my voice would get higher and higher and higher, and I would get really, really high, and I would talk like this when I was about to rip somebody's throat out. So the
Oh,
angrier I
yes.
got, the nicer and higher pitched I got, and they're like, "You're up 2 octaves, Holly. Why don't you go do something else. I will take care of this." And I'm like, no, I'm gonna cut this bitch.
Yeah.
Like she's being rude and I'm sitting here trying to help her. So yeah, self-defense
Yep.
mechanisms.
Got to put the phone on the charger so it doesn't die.
Miss Cindy, how are you? Are you loving your new rattle?
Yes, I am. So I hosted Bunko at my house last week and I totally brought out my drums and the rattle and I had to share and be like, see, look, this is what we get to play with
That's all we
when,
get to play with.
yeah, when you come. And so anyway,
How is
it
it
was fun.
received?
Really well. And of course I didn't do it with the whole group, right? There were a few lingering that were, that are just yeah, they're like we anyway, everybody in Bunka loves Holly, just so you know, Holly. They all love you. Um
I'm like, I don't know any of them, do
I
I?
know. I know you don't know any of them.
I'm like, because my
Actually,
daughter did live in Richfield. So
oh really? Oh.
yeah, she went
Oh
to school
yeah.
at Snow.
She went to school. She wrestled.
Yeah. It was a
Yeah.
really horrible, hard experience for her.
Yeah. That was when I got my first drum from you. She was here,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So anyway, actually they all love all of you because they're my support here to help make sure I got to Hawaii, right? And
Oh,
whatever else.
yeah.
So yeah.
Aw.
But and some of them, understand what I'm doing, others not so much, but they're still supportive, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, brought the rattle out at the end, and um one of them I need to meet with. She wants to. She reached out to me, but we haven't been able to have our schedules connect. And she's also like she wants to, but it's scary, it's a lot what she's got going on. So but she keeps saying only when you're ready, she doesn't want to add too much to me, right? And I definitely do have moments, but I can compartmentalize, like, at Thanksgiving it was, oh yeah, no, we're gonna fill those fills on, I'm scheduling this for Saturday and or Sunday.
We're gonna fill those feels later.
Uh-huh. Yep. I feel you, I see you, but we're gonna fill you all the way later. So
Well,
that's
and it
kind of
sounds
how
like she
I'm
might be
living.
one of the people who they have a really hard time saying yes to themselves and the guilt and like, oh, I don't really want to look at myself. But if you need me, I'm there. So it may be the higher road to say, hey, I really need to practice on
Mm,
you because then she's doing you a favor and then she
right.
will say yes because she puts herself last. So
Okay.
tap into that because there are quite a few times where it's like, oh, this is where we have to use the guilt for their benefit because they're not going to say yes to themselves. I mean, think back yourself at
Hmm.
times because I feel like we've all been there and we all came from there. That's why we gravitate here, where it's like, oh, I don't want to take the time on it, and oh, you're doing free ones, but I want somebody else to get that free one instead of me who really needs it. But also it's really scary because like what if you find something really bad and what if you don't like me anymore? But oh, if it'll help you, then yeah, then you'll still like me because I helped you, even if I have some weird stuff. So like there's a whole mind game that we can do. So something like that might help her
Okay.
like tune in. But
Yeah.
if it's for her highest good and it's like, oh, you need to say, I really need this, then she will do it. And
Okay.
it
I
will
like that.
help her because it is for her. Yes, it
Right.
benefits you, but it is for her, but she won't give
Right.
herself permission. So
Right.
in those cases, something like that might fit.
Okay. I really like that. Thank you.
And remember what it was like when you had your first session or right before you came to Hawaii, where you're like excited and nervous.
Yeah.
And some people, if they're not really equipped to handle the nervous, they just never mind. Like I had a client today that was a new client. Um, Her coworker is a dear friend of mine, and they got talking, and we've met. They work at Home Depot, so I'm like there all the time. I'm like, I'm sure I know who you are because I'm always there. And now that my house is going to be empty, I got a 3-page list of repairs, so I'm going to be there a lot. That's going to be my social hour. So she scheduled, and then she kept thinking about it, and she just got really, really scared of what might come up, and what if it's before Christmas, and what if it's too much? And it was like it'll actually benefit your Christmas because it will be what you're ready to release, what you're able to release. We don't
Mm,
bring up anything that's not ready to go already. And she ended up going, oh, can we just do it after Christmas? And I'm like, sure, no problem. So she rescheduled last minute. And, my dear friend was like, she is just so scared. And I'm like, it's
mm.
okay. She can be scared. So, but also, I want somebody who's going to do the things and are ready for it. And sometimes they're not ready for the big change yet because there are
Right.
payoffs to being a victim. There's payoffs to being in pain and getting whatever you're getting out of it. And so, but it feels like
Yeah.
with her, she just needs the invitation that she's helping you.
Okay, I like that. I will do that for sure. Yeah. Um, yeah. So things are good. I was able to practice with people over the holiday. I haven't this week. This week has been filled with distraction. And I'm going to call it what it is. I have 100% had distraction this week. And I finally tonight, after my last one, I was going to move into the next one, right? Because there's a wrestling match going on. My kid is not wrestling, but it's like, oh, well, I can go and support. I need to go support, And finally it was like, whoa, Cindy. So I did pause and was like, nope, I need to choose me. And so I went and got in the sauna. And I was like, nope, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the call. I'm not going to bail on the call. And then I'm going to go to yoga. So anyway, I got there. It took a little bit, but I did get there.
And
So
it is a balance. It is.
yeah, yeah, it is. So anyway,
I love
there
it.
we are.
And I'm not sure if you were on when I said it, and I sent it in the email too. We're not going to meet for Christmas or for New Year's.
Okay.
So we have next week, and then we won't be on
Um,
a call until after the new year.
okay.
So be
I
there next week unless your kid's wrestling, and then you'll have
my
2 weeks off.
Yeah. So, oh, you know what? Actually, and maybe I'll put this in the group, but my kid is not wrestling because of neck injury from the accident.
Oh,
Yeah, so which is why I've been down in St. George and was able to pick up the rattle, right?
oh.
Anyway, his C1 and C2 are scissored. And so we are working chiropractic and doing adjusting there, but it's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you doing chiropractic there in Ridgefield, or are you coming all the way down here?
coming down to St. George.
I would go see Dr. Dillon, even if you're
Okay.
seeing another chiropractor as well. He does nerve work as
Oh.
well as the spine, so he doesn't crack anything.
Hmm.
Tell him I sent you. He is phenomenal. Like the original chiropractic medicine is very different from the way most schools are. He went to a very rare school where I think there's only 27 schools in the world that teach this type of chiropractic. And part of their final is they have a stack of papers and they have to find a single hair in the paper where the hair is because they learn to sense the nerves. So they're looking
Mm.
at where the nerves are in the body with or without x-rays, like all by hand and touch. And even when you're adjusted, you don't really feel like you were adjusted. But like I go to him myself and I've had him come to retreats and do things and everybody raves about him. He adjusted my grandbabies when they were born. Really good. So I'll send you his number. You
Okay.
can even text him to schedule and just say, "Hey, Holly sent me. We're already going to chiropractor, but she said I need to bring him in to see you."
Okay. And the reason we're going down there is because of the doctor, the chiropractor we're working with. He doesn't do he uses does fine adjustments as well.
Oh,
He
okay.
doesn't
What's his name?
Dr. Spencer Anderson. He's at the Whiplash Center.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, the nerves are what
I would,
it's yeah.
even if it's not covered or however it's covered, Dr.
Mhm.
Dillon's really good at about working with you on prices and stuff.
Okay.
So, and if you're like, I'm one of Holly's practitioners, wink, wink,
Right.
he's very nice. Um, yeah, I'll send you his number so you'll have it.
Okay.
Um, Also, if you need, and I'm just offering, like, if you choose not to, my feelings won't be hurt. I'll forget, just so you know. But also, Trevor Morey, he's a really amazing massage therapist that works with injury specifically, is like his
Oh.
specialty. Sports injury is what he was originally studying. And then just shifted into massage therapy, worked at a bougie, really expensive hotel. I can't even remember the name. Amagari. It's out by in the middle of nowhere. It's super expensive. Like
Mm.
celebrities go there. And then he just started his own practice a year or two ago. but I send people who have like serious injuries or who have been through surgeries, and it is like night and day difference. So he might be able to also help with some structural so that the muscles around, because he'll like I'll be like, oh, right here hurts. He's like, oh, well, it's actually stuck way down here. Let me work this. And you can just feel everything loosen up here by working something lower. So he might be a really good contact. So I'll send you both their numbers
Yes.
and also tell both I sent you because they'll give you a good deal.
Okay, perfect. And that's what I want. Like I so I actually really think that he was out before the accident. Um, and so we're both just sending so much gratitude that he had the accident, right? Because that's the catalyst to get us to get down to, this guy and do the x-rays and see. And he's like, yeah, it's definitely from the accident, but we're also using the pip, right? So we've got to say that. But the more I think about it and talk with Heaton, it's like, oh, actually this was happening beforehand, and thank heavens we were able to get to it before something happened serious with wrestling, right? Yeah. So we're just going with lots of gratitude and giving him the month of December to, get things aligned and healed, but it's the muscles, right, that I think are probably trained to pull it back, to, do whatever. So, um, and then watching wrestling and some of the stuff, it's like, oh, do I really want him back out there? And I do. Like, there's a part of me that
It's
does,
also
but
his
then
senior
there's,
year, and oh yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I will definitely follow up with those because especially if they're gonna actually work during when he doesn't have school. And so thank
Yeah.
you. I
And I
appreciate
gave
that.
you both of their, like they have websites you can book, but just text them.
Okay.
They're really chill. So
Okay. Okay. Thank
yeah.
you. I
And I'm really
appreciate that.
close with both of them. Like we're good friends. So
Okay.
we'll take care of you.
Okay. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yay for healthy babies.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
if when you come down, you want to stop by because my house will be empty. Feel free.
Hey. Yeah,
Well, I
all
have
right.
to like unpack my whole house now because everything's been moved and shifted and packed away to make room. So now I've got to rearrange all of my stuff and I'm going to be repainting. I don't know when I'm going to do it. Probably not for a month or two, but we're
Right.
going to repaint, we're going to retile, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Well, and of course, now I'm like, oh, wait, I should have talked to you about other drums and like the synthetic one. And, so anyway, yeah,
Well,
I'm
if you
sure
need
you'll hear
other
from me.
things, they'll be here.
All right.
So if you find something you love, because I am going to be gone to Guatemala, but if there is something that you need when you're here, I have family members that have a key that can come and
Okay.
support you in getting things that you would like. We've already
And
talked about it. I even have these cute little drum gifts. And I was like, if anybody orders and it's before Christmas, I'm actually giving them to my daughter. She'll mail them. So you get like a little tiny drum in
oh,
like a little package and it says like your custom drum's coming or whatever. I was like, that way if anybody
oh.
buys, because husbands like to buy last minute and I'm going to be out of town.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, if they buy last minute and I'm not able to do a custom thing or I have to change something, will you just send these out for me so that moms can have something to open on Christmas rather than an IOU.
I
So
love that. That's
yeah.
so cute. I love that.
So if you do need something, let me know.
Okay.
Because my cute nephew, I'm hiring him to come water my 150 plants.
Good.
He's like, I do pet sitting and lawn mowing. I'm like, do you do plant watering and spritzing and leaf oiling? I'm not high maintenance at all, but actually, and the humidifier needs to go. And so he's like, you got to show me everything. So I'm like, okay, I'll show you. But that's been a huge stress over them leaving is like, well, I travel so much. What about like my plants and my
Right.
cat? And how am I going to navigate that? And I'm like, oh yeah, come walk up the street because they only live 2 blocks away. Walk up the street and I'll pay you some money. Oh, look, he already
Perfect.
had business cards. It was so cute.
Oh, cute.
I was like, oh, it's like it's already being taken care of like everything else. So,
Nice.
Rowena, are you able to pop in at all? I'm assuming that she can only listen in and she can't.
I can only listen in.
Oh, you can talk in too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
I've
hear
been
your
listening.
share.
Yeah.
We're just going because it
um,
didn't show a mute or an unmute, so I thought you couldn't. So I'm just
oh, that's
gabbing
so
away.
weird. I don't know what is going on electronically since last Sunday, but I think it's just my router for Frontier. And so it finally just is not connecting. They're supposed to come out tomorrow afternoon. So I have to reschedule 2 clients tomorrow afternoon because I have to be here. But that's okay. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, right?
Mhm.
So what's I had the weirdest thing happen at work. Um, I was sitting there at work and all of a sudden it felt like my third eye went cross-eyed, like my vision, and it felt like it was stuck, like my third eye. And I was like, okay, this is weird. We can't do this at work, which is what I said inside my head. And then it just popped back the way it was supposed to be. It was so weird, Holly.
That's
I
so
don't think I've
cool.
ever had that happen. Is that cool? I don't know. I've never
It
had
is.
that
It's very
happen.
cool. I
But
think it's cool.
I was like, no, we can't do this at work right now.
The phasing in and out. Well, and the more we get into like a quantum level and a level of
Mm-hmm.
being in that state of oneness and wholeness and creating all of the reality around us, the more that I call it the phasing kind of happens, where you phase in and out. And earlier on the call, we were talking, and you can watch the replay, we were talking about the sun quantum, the linear universe, is what I'm currently
Yeah.
like prepping to teach. And it's the 4th level, but literally, like, I was talking to her and I'm like, I'm just having a really hard time understanding how to attune people for this. And she's like, you go into it. You just go into it. And I was like, okay, Greek lady, that makes no sense, but I'm going to listen. I'm a very good student because that's how you become a very good teacher. So I will just go into it. I sat there and I had the intent and I was just like, okay, guys, like, let's go into it. And what you described was very similar to what I experienced because you look at it and you're looking at a pinpoint in frequency. And so it everything kind of did go movie, shifty, weird, blurry, crisscross, and like the images started moving. And then I turned and like I don't know if
Uh-huh.
you ever saw the show Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. And he's like the
Yes,
dyslexic, but
I
then he
love
looks
them.
at the
Yes.
ancient letters and they move and they shift. It was like that. And so the pages, I'm looking at these symbols after symbols and they're shifting. And I was like, holy cow. Because I'd looked at them before and they didn't do that. But with the intent of going into it,
Right.
it opened. And so I wonder if there's something similar to that where you're tapping into the in-betweens and you're starting to see like the wonkiness of the matrix, that it really doesn't exist. Sometimes I'll be sitting
Yeah.
and like all of a sudden the wall will go like, oh, there's a glitch in the matrix. You know, people joke about that all the time, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so perhaps that's
Right.
kind of what you're playing with is being in that higher frequency of being that's beyond the 3D. So the 3D starts to fade in and out. How does that feel to you?
I've had yeah, and I've had some ear ringing. Usually it's my left ear, but it's my right ear. Ear ringing. I've stayed at my daughter and son-in-law's twice. I was either taking care of my grandson or this last time. I stayed the night so I could let her dogs in and out while they were out of town. And I have decided that I cannot sleep in their bed. Like I usually
It's
just
just so
crash in their
uncomfortable.
bed to wash the sheet for me. No, I have the weirdest, most bizarre dreams. I don't know if I'm channeling or I'm picking something up, but this last one I stayed Monday night and I felt kind of weird and off when I went to bed. Well, first of all, it was just me and the dogs, and she has a 6,000-foot square house. It's 3 levels. And I was like, oh, I kind of feel, like I'm here alone, whatever. So when I went to bed, I always call in everybody and put a white light and a golden bubble and do all that because I can have some weird dreams sometimes.
Mm.
Most of the time they're positive. Sometimes the negative will come in and they're really weird. So I called a bunch of extra in and I'm sleeping and I was having this bizarre dream. I remember it was just this bizarre dream. And then all of a sudden I was startled awake by a face that like came right in front of me. And it wasn't really scary. It was just this face was there and these really bright blue eyes. And it woke me up. And I'm like, okay, that was just really weird. And I'm not sleeping in this bed anymore.
So it sounds like you're
I don't know if
opening
I'm
up, but
taking,
wasn't one of your requests of spirit your desires to be able to open up seeing more?
yes, more,
Okay.
yes,
And when we are
yeah,
able to see, when our seeing gifts, like actually visually seeing, opens up, it tends to be at the in-between state between sleep and awake. Like that's when our defenses are
mm-hmm,
down a little bit more. I call it the river of conscious thought, where when you're in that in-between shifting into the dream space, you're very lucid. Um, and the blue lotus that I'm going to be sending you will help a lot with that lucidity in that space. So if you are seeing too much, then you might want to stop. But I would also
mm-hmm,
recommend scheduling time to sit with that energy. Um, because sometimes we don't make an appointment for spirits and things to come through and us to see things. So then they come through when we're trying to go to sleep and we're trying to close off, but then they still kind of come through because we had asked and it gets kind of muddled. So even just scheduling
right,
time where you're like, this is my meditative state where I will be open for this. For me personally, if I'm going to meditate like that, I am basically going to sleep because I have to get in that in between so that I will see things unless I'm in a session.
that's kind of how I feel, yeah,
So even doing the meditation that we did where you go through all of the energy centers with the Merkaba, even laying down and doing
mm-hmm,
that, and then after you have your light body saying, okay, I'm open for any information that needs to come in. Like flip the open sign. Okay, we're here. Anybody want to talk? No? Okay, now we're closed. Even I learned that from my dear friend Rick, who he even like when his channeling gifts started like acting wonky, he's like, I still have my appointment with spirit and it's a standing appointment. So even if no spirits come through to talk to me, I still go into my spirit room, I still do my routine, I do my ritual, and I'm there and I'm listening and I wait. And if nothing comes through, then I close my ritual just the same and I leave and I come back the next day because it's a matter of making that appointment because he's like, I know that if I didn't do that, that things would come through and they would bump in the night and they would keep me up and then I'd be grouchy and then I won't want to do the spirit work or I'd be caught off guard or they'd come while he was doing his muggle job. And so he's like, if
right.
I set this boundary and if I say, no, you can't come at this time, then I need to have a time when they can come. Otherwise, they're not going to honor it. Does that
And I
help?
wonder if that's what, yeah, and I'm wondering if that is why these things are happening is it's like, okay, you asked for this because I really do believe I could see a lot when I was younger, but it frightened me or what came through was because I was younger, um was darker, so it scared me. I didn't know how to, navigate dark and light because I was so young. And so I closed that all off. It's like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see any of that anymore. So now I'm trying to and asking to open that site a little bit more. And so that, like you said, if I'm not making an appointment, then it's going to happen. Because I have the weirdest dreams anyhow. I'll just wake up in the morning when Brett's here and say, I had the weirdest dream. He's like, you always have the weirdest dream.
And it's
But so
Tuesday.
maybe it's
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I
So
used to be
maybe
the
it's
same way,
maybe
which
that
is
way.
why I feel like unless I'm in a session or falling asleep, there is that default guard that still comes in, even after all these years. And so when I'm in that falling asleep state or when I'm in a session, that guard isn't up. And so that's where I find it works for me. Rick, he can pop in without having to do anything. He goes into meditation, he has a visual he goes through, and that's how he sinks into it. So something like that might be really powerful if you are now going to sleep or even like taking a nap, but just doing it with the intent of I'm going to go in and I'm going to connect. And if not, then I'll fall asleep. And this sleep is for travel, not or for information, not necessarily for rest. So it's not at your regular bedtime. It might be the middle of the day or, few hours before bed so that you can go there. And then when you sleep, your sleep is your restful state.
I like that. I think I had text you because one of the things that happened the week before was I dreamt that I was like foot zoning my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, the 11-year-old. I dreamt and it was like I was sitting on the couch and I was foot zoning her and we were having a conversation and I woke up the next morning and I texted her and I said, "Did you have a dream about me last night?" She's like, "No, why?" And they're older. They all know that grandma has weird dreams and, just they're really super open to all that. And I said, "'Cause I dreamt that I was sitting on the couch and you had your feet in my lap and I was foot zoning you." She's like, "Oh, well, that's cool."
Yeah, you told me you were
But
going to ask her about it, but I didn't hear what the results were.
yeah, she didn't, but I'm pretty sure I traveled and I foot zoned her
Yeah.
because it just felt too real. You know what I mean? It was like, no, I'm pretty sure I went and visited her and foot zoned her in my sleep.
I'm pretty sure you did
If
too.
that makes sense. I know, but the thing is I have had really horrible dreams before and like seen things, and I'm okay with dreaming and connecting and stuff like that, but I really don't want to see that. That's not what I want to see
Well, and that's where
in
we
my
set up
sleep.
the boundaries. By setting up the boundaries or actually asking our guide to come in, then our guide acts as the mediator. And actually, I had planned because the big practitioner group had wanted this video this week. So I was like, oh, I'm going to send it to you guys too. So I was already planning on sending it. So I love how this is circulating all the way through. I'm sending a
Hmm.
meditation that's actually one that Rick did. And it's where you go through a journey, a visualization. This is how he goes and connects with his guides and channels, where you go and you actually meet up with your spirit guide, like one of them. It's usually the same one. And it's that guide's job to filter out or host who is coming through to you. So they're acting as a buffer. So you don't have to worry about, oh no, something dark's coming in because this guide's already a gatekeeper. So it's kind of how you get to that gate. And then when you get to that point, other beings can come in and you can talk to them there, or your guide can take you to them, but you're a little bit safer because you're going to a place where you will meet, and at any moment you can leave that place and come back into this reality. And so I'm actually sending that this week. Um, and then there's another video I'm sending on discernment. So I think that will help a lot because both of them are based on channeling. So there you go. And like specifically what you're
I love it.
seeing and communication with spirit. So they're
Yeah.
actually from when we did the emotion empowerment kits. They're actually meditations that he had created for those, but I really love them. And so I reuse them for practitioners. I'm like, that's why everybody loves him and knows him because I'm still using his material. But it's really good. Like it's
I
stuff that
love
I've
it.
used. So, and that is his jam. Like SPHT is mine. Communication with spirit is his entire spiritual world. And so he's really good at that, especially when you see dark things or things you don't want to see. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's going to be in this week's videos. Yay! So I would do those and
Perfect.
see
Yay.
what happens. Like we get to experiment, right?
Okay.
And I have
Yes.
it in there, like the actual meditation starts at like 13 minutes in, but you can listen to the information ahead of time. It might be beneficial because he talks about certain items that were in the kits. But just know it was for a different course, but the meditation's at the end and it's really good. So, and
Okay.
that's for both of those.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Okay.
I felt like sending those this week. And so that's interesting that you're already on path with those. I just love when that happens. I'm like, well, it's kind of weird because they're both about 13 minutes and they're just kind of like these extra things, but now I can see why. So, yay,
Yep.
they're
And
already
we're
in the email saved. So those are coming. Those should help.
awesome. Yep. Otherwise, it's been like a really good week. I feel a lot of joy coming up into Christmas and this time of year right now. Just
Yeah.
spreading it around my students too, putting lots of love and light around them.
Yeah. Oh, you are light. Speaking of being a beacon around, we talked about it earlier. I don't know if you heard that part, but being a beacon wherever you live, like you being there around those kids is really, I feel like it's really impacting them. So that's really beautiful.
I really love that. Thank you. I know a
True.
couple weeks ago, a couple of them were like, "Do we have to leave your class?" They're like, "It just feels so good in here that we don't want to leave and go to our other classes."
Mm.
And I just try to put lots of love and light and understanding and stuff like that.
Yes, you have to leave my
Thank you.
class.
I love that beacon of light.
But you can come back. Yeah, you're a beacon of light. I love
Yeah.
it. Awesome.
Oh,
Well,
and by the way, after
yes.
our call last week, um, I feel like I needed that call and the energy or whatever was with connecting with all of you because my the cough, all of that pretty much went away by the next morning. And then I did get my stuff from Melissa for the one for to get rid of the phlegm that I've kind of had for almost 4 years.
Oh, wow. That's
A little
significant.
bit of a cough ever since COVID. Yeah. So I don't know what it was connecting with everybody, the sisters, but it did help.
It's
Thank you.
magical. Well,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for being on and big squishy hugs to Melon Morocco when she gets to watch this. And then Sunny, we missed her as well. Ah, yeah. I love our group and I love that even if they're not on the call, we still get to think of them and feel connected. So thank you, thank you.
I'm vicariously through Mel's pictures and Facebook posts enjoying Morocco.
Yeah. It's been on my list for a while, but I was like, I don't know that I'm brave enough to go there alone. So I love watching everywhere she's going. I'm like, ooh, noted. I want to go there. Noted. I want to go there. It's really beautiful. I love that she shares. Okay, well, we will go ahead and wrap up then. Thank you for being on, guys. And yep, the email will be out in the morning when all this uploads. And yeah, one more call for the year next week. So they'll be exciting. Okay, love you. I'm like silence to myself.